I'm in Watford and I'm visiting Bhaktivedanta Manor. It's a manor which was donated to the Hare Krishna movement by George Harrison, who is a singer with the 60s group the Beatles. I'm often humbled and left speechless that somebody could be moved spiritually, that he wanted to give the Hare Krishna movement a spiritual home, and this is it. Hello brother, Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
It's a very great honor for me to come here. What's your good name?
My name is Radha Mohandas, and it's wonderful you've come. You're a most honoured and welcome guest today. So what I wanted to do, I'm going to introduce you to Srila Prabhupada, who's very important to us at all Hare Krishna temples, but then I'm going to be showing you the shrine as well afterwards. But let's start off with Srila Prabhupada. This is a Murti of him. His full title is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He was the person who comes from a long line of spiritual teachers, basically in what we call the Gaudiya tradition, which includes Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who popularised the chanting of Hare Krishna. That's why we're known as Hare Krishnas. Now, Srila Prabhupada actually brought this ancient Vaishnava tradition outside of India in 1965. He started off with humble beginnings, and yet in the 12 years that followed, he made over 5,000 disciples from 6 continents. He opened hundreds of temples, farms, schools, even a scientific institute. And very importantly, he wrote over 70 books, including translations of the Bhagavad Purana, the Bhagavad Gita, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other kind of related books as well, and also from translations from Sanskrit to English and elaborate commentaries. Imagine he did all that in just a short period of time. He's no longer with us physically, but he remains with us spiritually in all our temples, especially in the form of a Murti, sacred statue of Srila Prabhupada. So his clothes are changed on a daily basis, and spiritually we still feel his energy. People would offer respects to him, and this altar gets cleaned regularly as well. Okay, so basically Srila Prabhupada was put into what they call samadhi. So if someone's a very, very holy person in Indian tradition, they're not cremated like most people, but they're actually, their body is basically preserved. And so he's buried, yes, in Vrindavan, the holy place, where there's a temple over the top of that holy place, and it's we call it Srila Prabhupada's samadhi. So that's where he is. So he's remembered in that way. There's a whole temple adjacent actually to a main temple in Vrindavan, which is called the Krishna Balaram Mandir. This is the main shrine here at Bhaktivedanta Manor, Hare Krishna Temple. You see all the deities here, they're wearing their full set of clothes, and they actually have 2 sets of clothes for each day. And we have actually hundreds of sets of clothes in our archives. Now if you come tomorrow, you'll be seeing a completely new set of clothes, and even if you come tonight, you'll be wearing something different. Also, even their flower garlands are new on every morning. This is 24 karat gold plated. And I'll just introduce you here to each deity. So on the left there, that's Lord Krishna. Next to him is his female consort, Radharani. We'll move over here towards the other side of the shrine. We can see in the centre there, this one is Lord Ram. And next to him, on our right, is his wife Sita Devi. On the other side of Lord Ram is Lakshman, his brother. And kneeling down in front of Lakshman is Hanuman, the devout servant of Ram. Now just behind Hanuman also, on the smaller kind of canopy you'll see just there, the 2 central figures with their arms in the air. That's it, there they are, 2 golden figures. Deities made of brass. That's Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, that we call Gaurnitai. And they're very, very central to our particular tradition. So it's a beautiful, beautiful shrine. It's very famous throughout the world actually, including in India. This is the spiritual heartbeat here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. So here we are in the George Harrison garden. Now George Harrison was a former Beetle. He passed away in 2001 at the end of November. However, what we did was, a few years after that, with permission, of course, and cooperation from his widow, Olivia, and also with the appearances of Monty Don, a famous garden presenter in the UK, we opened this garden in a tribute to George Harrison. It's not in full bloom, but you get an idea of its beauty and its sense of serenity as well. So a mixture of different fauna and even kind of an area that is flat, where people can maybe do a bit of yoga or meditation. And also enshrined in different parts of the garden, you'll see there are different things which have references or homages to some of his songs. For example, here it says the words "awaken and see," So this is some of the lyrics in some of his songs, which has spiritual meaning, but of a non-denominational or a non-sectarian nature. If we walk along here, we see this rather artistic, unusual-looking bench actually. But on here we can see, if we look carefully, it reads, "I am so happy I have found you." So of course this is found who? Found the Lord, found Krishna, or found God. So it's about a spiritual journey. Even the pathway, you'll see it's in the shape of a figure of 8. So this can represent infinity, the infinity of the soul. It's not just simply about planting things and watching them grow or adding enough fertilizer and so forth. And it's about the devotion, something more subtle than that. The devotion you put into your gardening, the gardener will reciprocate, because it picks up on your intention, your consciousness,
Your
energy. So we believe that this garden, is very much kind of built on energy, as a tribute to George, of course.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
And such a peaceful garden.
it's
Beautiful.
a very special garden. I like it. Yeah.
In case some of the younger viewers are not familiar with who George Harrison is and the significance of why you've dedicated a memorial garden to George Harrison.
So George Harrison was actually nicknamed the Mystic Beetle from the famous English pop band The Beatles, one of the most famous actually pop or rock bands of all time. So George, especially when the Beatles split up, but even before that, George was known as the Mystic Beetle. He was a bit more interested in spirituality. He was good friends with Ravi Shankar, the sitar player. In fact, Ravi Shankar later on in life taught George how to play the sitar. George Harrison was also one of the first people to introduce the use of the sitar in one of the Beatles albums. I think it was called Norwegian Wood. He didn't play particularly well at the time, according to a traditional way, but he used it effectively, and this represented a fusion between East and West music, if you like. But George, he became a well-wisher of the Hare Krishna movement. He was a friend and well-wisher, to the point where he donated Bhaktivedanta Manor in 1973. So obviously, and he also paid for the printing of some of our first books, called the Krishna Book, and so forth. So, and even of course helped to produce an album called the Hare Krishna Temple album in the early 70s. So as you can imagine, when George passed away, we wanted to reciprocate in some way and do something special for George. A garden for George is what we nicknamed it. So here I am, standing outside Srila Prabhupada's Darshan Room door. So here at Bhaktivedanta Manor, we've actually preserved the rooms that Srila Prabhupada would stay in when he was staying here in England. So here's the door here, and his name is on the door, and here it is, "Please knock before entry." Out of respect, we're going to be doing just that before going in, and I'll be bowing down. So when Srila Prabhupada was here, this is the seat he would use where he'd do his letters, his translation work, where he would guide people doing his recording, meet famous people, including people like George Harrison from the Beatles, for example. So we preserved this room and kept much of its style, its classical style, as well as even the style of carpet and curtains that was around at that time in the 70s and of course before. So this is one of my favourite rooms actually. His rocking chair, Prabhupada's dictaphone, and remember some of his books as well. This is a very special and sacred room, I think, at Bhaktivedanta Manor. Yes, that's actually in this room. You can even tell by the skirting board and the curtains as well. We've even kept a lot of his things, like his slippers, his chadar, and so forth. So now we're going to leave Srila Prabhupada's personal Darshan Room, and we're going to be going into his bathroom and then into his bedroom. If you just come this way.
Thank you. Such a lovely room.
It is. It's one of my favourite rooms actually.
With a
Lovely
marble.
Victorian sinks and plumbing has been preserved. This building was built in 1884. So obviously it's been used by different people, but since 1973 it's been a Hare Krishna Temple, and these were Prabhupada's personal quarters. These are some of the things from India that he would use.
All right, milk and magnesia.
Yeah, all these things.
Incredible.
You don't get good quality though, because of the shine, you know.
Yeah, it's not. These medicines were used by Srila Prabhupada during his stay here from 1976 to 77.
That's right, yeah. It's
Incredible. You've got the oleo, tongue scraper.
I'll quickly show the bedroom as well if you like, because it is quite a special building in many respects.
Thank you.
So this is Srila Prabhupada's bedroom. Of course, there's a lounge, the bathroom, of course now a bedroom. So we preserved all of the style of wallpaper and carpeting, and the frame of the bed, of course, is exactly the same. We even have a photograph of there of Srila Prabhupada resting, as he would sometimes do in the afternoon, to correspond with, of course, the Indian siesta. But we've got some very beautiful things in this room, a very special room in many respects.
If I wanted to make a donation, or if somebody wants to make a donation, how and where can I do that?
We can do it at the reception room. Should we go to the reception?
Fantastic.
That's very kind of you, by the way.
No, thank you.
Tell them I'll reimburse.
Jai Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can I make a donation? Can I make a donation, please?
Of course. What's your question? Okay. And how much would you like to make a donation?
If I can give that, please. Thank you.
So this is your receipt. A moment. This is a prasadam.
Thank you.
This is for you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Jai Krishna. Thank you.
So here is a special kitchen we have in our Goshala project, and there's actually a lot of visiting school children here as well today. But as far as this kitchen is concerned, the bread that we make, the gingerbread, the banana bread, and many of the cakes, like for example cheesecake, is made here, and then we take it over to the bakery where it's distributed and sold. Our sweets are offered to the deities are made from the cow's milk, you see. Now obviously the cows here are hand milked twice a day, but very early in the morning, about 5 in the morning, but also late in the afternoon as well. So it's any given year they're giving about something in the region of, quite a few thousand, I believe it's something like 64,000 litres of milk are yielded by our cows on an annual basis. And here they are, you see.
Your cows really look content.
They are very happy cows. All the humans they meet are always feeding them great happiness and devotion, and importantly, they're allowed to live their full natural lifespan. We have about, if you include all the cows and all the bullocks, we have something in the region of about 60 cows and bulls. More bulls actually. These are all cows.
And how can you tell male and female?
I'll show you the males and you'll see the. These are they're all females. They don't mix the bulls and cows. Otherwise there'll be many more calves. Yeah, and they've also got a lot more testosterone than the cows. I would only go into the pen to change the straw if you're trained. We see some of the horns they have.
They're ready for action.
Yeah, quite large.
I love it. It reminds me of India.
Yeah.
The village. The village.
From a village in Gujarat or something.
This is Jatayu. He's about 11 years old, and this is little Nandi. Nandi's about nearly 5 years old.